me in two and then put Pops in one when he comes up. Oh, okay. We back. They trying. It ain't working though.
No, it ain't working.
Well, Velvet, you got a lot of people upset that you're interviewing with the T. I hope you know. A lot of people are upset.
Yeah,
She
they
gonna
need to stop hating though, man. Like, go do
I
your
feel like
own
they
thing.
would
Get away.
uh,
Leave us
it's
alone.
yeah, I feel like the fact that she's actually speaking this time, speaking from her heart, has got them upset.
Yep. Yep. So how you feeling, Velvet? You good? Good.
we just waiting for Ash. Kiss is getting ready. She ain't gonna be able to come.
There's Ash.
Okay.
And Green, Green may not. Hey. Okay, y'all can go ahead.
Okay, go ahead, sweet Ma. We're going to start it off.
All right. So I'm just gonna go back to Cookie's house for a little period. There was a time when
Definitely, I just want to say this. I'm definitely not being interviewed for free. Y'all have no idea. But anyway, go ahead, sweet mom.
y'all need to teach me how to use this Bigo thing. I said I wanted to donate beans, but I don't know how to do it. But anyway, right? So I noticed when Seven came along, it was almost as if Eligio was using her to make you jealous or uncomfortable. I saw a little bit of favoritism with Seven's daughter, and shortly after you made your escape, you left for a little bit. Did you leave because of Seven? Do you remember what made you leave or what triggered that time that you left?
He was physically abusing me.
And did he kick out Seven for you to return? Because he immediately kicked her out and then you were back.
No.
Okay. Now, you just mentioned the physical abuse. That is the next question I wanted to ask you. I was paying attention to a couple of lives where you had bruises on your face, right? And you would take a scarf and put the scarf over your head, and you would keep the scarf there for about I can't remember, it was a couple of weeks where you would constantly wear a scarf. I wasn't sure if you got into a physical altercation with Malia because he took Malia back or if he beat you.
What's the question?
Oh, there was a point where you had a bruise on your face and you would wear a scarf around your head for a long period of time to cover it. And you would move certain times and then it was visible. And I remember when he took Aya back and Malia, you guys were at like this little fast food joint. I don't know if you were buying ice cream or not. And you had a bruise right here on your chin. First the bruise was on your eye, then you had one on your chin. And I'm like, who is beating you? Are you fighting with the women over Eligio or is he beating you?
He was always beating me. I don't remember. I remember just staying away from everybody because I had so many like bruises and stuff like that. I stayed away from everybody in the camp. But when I did come around, I had my wrap over my head. Like I stopped wearing it around my waist and I started putting it over my head. I was comfortable like that actually too.
That was the time when you came back and he had you sitting down. I can remember you guys were wearing burgundy and he set everybody together and he picked out who's going to be whose wife and husband. And then he tells you he misses Malia. And the look on your face was in like you were in shock. The next day you had a bruise in your eye. It was like did I didn't know if he beat you or if you and Malia got into a fight. I just wanted to know where
I
that.
never got in a fight with Malia, and the only fight I ever got into a fight with Malia was on the beach. That was the only time I ever physically fought her. I never physically fought anyone in Carbonation but Nature Boy.
That leads me to my
Every bruise,
question. Oh,
every bruise that you've seen on me was from Nature Boy. Period. It was never another woman.
yep, that's what I thought. So,
Always,
Velvet, you have another question, sweet mom?
I'm just saying it was always on her face.
Yeah,
Right.
because he would hit me in my face.
Go
So
ahead.
can you speak to how often in a week, in any given week, how often did physical abuse occur between Nature Boy and you and him putting his hands on you?
Damn near
He
every day.
he likes to paint the picture that, oh, well, she did this to me and she did that to me. And I don't like to call myself a victim, but what do you say? What thoughts go through your mind when you hear him speaking as if you were the one that was the antagonizer of those type of altercations, when you were the one that ended up with the bruises or being off camera for extended periods of time, being isolated because of the beatings that you received, and also not getting medical attention after he would abuse you so viciously that you would be in intense pain and
The
just
the only thoughts that come to my head is, God, why am I going through this? Please guide me and show me the way. Like let me see the road that I need to travel in order to get to my salvation. That's the thoughts that come into my head. Like, of course, other thoughts come to my head like, why is he lying like this? Like, why is he trying to save face? And why is everybody else around him trying to save face? But that's not for me to try to figure out, so I just start praying. That's all I can.
absolutely. I do have another question, but Stinson, I'm gonna let you go, and Sweet Mama let you go, and then I'm gonna circle back real quick.
Um, I know this one is really hard for you, Velvet. This is the one, the 4th of July. Um, I want to ask what it felt like to go through that and have all those people stand around, not do anything, but spectate.
What was the question?
This one's the 4th of July, um, the one where he beat you pretty bad,
Right,
and they made a circle around him so nobody would see.
right.
What was it like to have everyone protect him and not protect you?
I never considered that because I was still trying to take up for them. So makes me feel like none of them really truly gave a fuck about me and how they say they did. That's the
I would
only thing that
imagine.
come to my heart. Like, imagine being around people that said that they loved you, that they cared about you, have you, but I get beat and abused, and then try to say that you was the reason why it had. I think that's fucked up.
That had to be a very lonely feeling.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, we were pretty shocked to learn about that. Um, that information actually came from a live that Star did after she ended up leaving the cult, and She went live with a couple of the other members that left and revealed that. She also revealed the abuse that was occurring between Solar while Zoka was still pregnant.
Yeah.
And so that was shocking information. To hear what you went through was shocking. We already knew that there was abuse going on, but
Yeah,
there's
and no one still doesn't come forward and talks about that.
No, they don't.
no, Star was the only
But
one.
it's all good because God gonna speak for me. So it is with it. I'm not worried.
Can I ask, was Sybil the only person that took care of you after that beating? The only person?
Yeah,
Are you happy that she put those details in the book? That you had
yeah,
a
yeah.
Did you ever ask him to take you to the hospital after any of those occurrences and get denied? I mean, just did you ever ask though? Did you ever think it was that serious? No?
No,
Okay.
I he actually asked me the July 4th. He actually asked me if I wanted to go to the hospital, and I said no, cause I knew that if I would have went to the hospital, I would have had to tell him what he did to me, which would have incriminated him. So I said no.
Okay.
All right. I know this one, and this is actually in correlation with the abuse, but this one might be a tough one as well. I didn't know this until recently. I heard that Nature Boy actually ran away with baby Eliana once. Would you like to speak on what happened?
Wait, what?
I heard that Nature Boy had ran away with baby Eliana at one time. Like actually ran away with her.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to speak on that? If not, I understand.
And Nature Boy always tried to get Eliana out of my presence. She was why he was holding me hostage. He would say, "You can't leave. I'm confiscating." He always confiscate my documents. Then once I had it turned into taking the baby from me. You can't. He'll tell me you can't leave unless you leave the baby. So that was a big factor in why I wasn't able to just walk away, like just on my own accord, outside of the incident when my dad came to Mexico to get me. But yeah, he definitely physically kidnapped Eliana from my presence when we was in Atlanta, Georgia, living at Cookie's house, because I told him that I didn't want to be in a relationship with him and Malia, and that they could be together without me there. And I tried to leave, and he didn't want me to leave. And Malia tried to grab my arm from walking out the door, and so I snapped on her, cause bitch, what you not about to do is try to get me into no, like leave me alone, like stay in your lane. So we started fighting. And somebody took the baby out of my hands, gave it to Nature Boy, Malia, and Aya, and some other person got in the car and left. And I called child protection.
Oh my, what?
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah.
So once you called child protection, how soon did it take for you to get baby Ellie back?
Not long. It was like a couple hours.
wow.
He didn't want to go through any. He knew that if he wouldn't have gave her back to me, then he would have had to go through the court and the system and all that. And he didn't want to do that, so he just gave her back to me.
And this is a lot.
Whew.
I'm just gonna ask this before T you go. I just always wanted to know when CPS was called, Alicia recently has been
I can't
saying,
hear you, sweet
Can't
ma.
hear you, sweet ma.
okay, can you hear me now?
Come a little closer.
Okay, how about now?
Yeah, that's a little better.
Okay. I'm asking this because Eligio is recently saying that CPS had you guys sign a contract so that you don't show the children on camera, and I just want to know if that was true or false.
We signed a contract with the CPS people in Atlanta, Georgia, to not show any of our personal business on social media, and he has breached that contract multiple times.
Wow. So he totally manipulated that
It's not my
into a lie.
signature, it's his signature. I didn't sign shit. He had to sign and say that I'm not going to put any of my personal business online anymore, and he has breached that contract.
So there was never anything that says the children specifically, because he said the
It
reason
was
why.
it was our personal life, including the children. The children are a part of our personal life. So
Yeah, that makes
anything
sense.
regarding to our personal life, like him doing the real nigga moments, him showing the wives, like all of that stuff was never the shit he's doing now. Like none of that's supposed to be being documented. None of it.
Okay. Right.
You guys had to, well, he had to sign a contract, but then a week later or a few days later, you guys are on a 24/7 show. I forgot what it was called, but for
Wait,
20,
wait, say that again.
when they were watching you for 24/7 when you guys were in New York.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense if he signed a contract and then he goes on a show that's
This was
displaying.
after that show. This was after that show. And yeah,
Okay.
after this show. And that show was some connection he had with a actual person who streams 24/7 on YouTube. But that was after. This contract was after that 24-hour stream.
Okay, thank
Okay,
you.
so I'm going to jump all the way ahead, Velvet, because everybody has been wanting to know how in the world did you make your final escape from Nature Boy? Can you walk us through the day leading up to that and tell us what happened and how did you do that?
So on this particular day when I left, I didn't know that I was gonna leave this day. But I had an idea that I would leave sometime soon. I had been planning my escape for damn near 2 months being there. I had to wait for a good day to leave. So I pretty much just made him feel comfortable with me because I he was physically abusing me so bad the last time I left that I didn't want to get hit anymore. So I had to comply to what he was telling me to do. So I made him feel comfortable. I made the other women feel comfortable. I had to communicate a lot. I was talking a lot to make everybody feel comfortable or whatever. But um once he started getting really really comfortable, he started really doing things that I never really seen him do before, and this was adding up on why I felt like I wanted to leave. I just never said nothing verbally to him or to anyone else. And so this particular day he had bought us some weed, and he had bought some Hennessy. This was the first time he drank Hennessy in years from what I've known. I appreciate that shit, y'all. From what I know, and he had always been against weed at this particular moment. So when he drunk the alcohol and the other women smoked the weed and stuff, that was outside of our normal routine. So I knew that everybody would be sleeping in a little bit longer or other than you, like more than usual. So I used that day to escape. But there were specific details that happened to me that led up to my final decision, like nah, this is not happening, like I'm not going through with it, and I'm never going back. Like certain things happened there that allowed me to feel like I never wanted to go back. Like he separated all the men and all the women, including the women who had children by other men, including the women who were pregnant by the other men. He's the ones he got, it was about maybe 7 or 8 women Once he got all of the women in the house, he had sex with us, and for 2 weeks straight, having sex with Zoka pregnant, big ass and big and pregnant. He was still having sex with her anally, head, swallowing his cum, like everybody, all. He went to have anal sex with other people because I wasn't letting him do that with me. My body wasn't receiving him in that way. There was a lot of other shit that I can't necessarily say on Bigo or I'll get banned, but yeah, I'll write that for the book. I'll put that in my book.
So he talks about you just being gone in the heat of the night. Did you like when you decided that you were gonna leave? Did you already have it set up? Like, did you call your family? Like, did you just walk out the front door? Did you leave in the middle of the night?
I I had set it up. I set it up when he was on that live that night with that black shirt on. I was packing my things. I was packing me and Eliana's things that night. Oh, I appreciate that. And once I packed all my stuff up, he got mad. And he was like, this when he called, I don't remember, but this is when he called all the women to the table. And he was like, y'all all just need to sit here and stop moving around because I feel like y'all not paying attention. So, but by that time, I had all my stuff packed in the closet, in the room, in the back. And I was like, nah, I made him feel good once he got off the live. I was like, I want all of us to sleep together. So I created a big, nice pad for all of us to go to sleep together. But before this day, I had made us sleep together. Like, I made everybody sleep together, like, in one room so that it could be easier for me to just walk away and leave and him not think nothing of it. So by the time I let everybody, I brought everybody together to sleep together in the living room. Once they was knocked out after smoking weed and drinking Hennessy, I left Eliana on the pad. I got up, I took my bag, I put my bag to where I go. Like everywhere he lives, and he has a big gate around us. So this particular house, the side of the gate on the house at the side, it was like pushed down, so I was able to get out. So I put my bags on the other side of the gate. I went back in the house. I picked Eliana up from the floor. I attached her to my body. I had a little baby carriage. I attached her to my body. I climbed over the gate and I picked my bags up and I started walking. And I kept walking until I came to like this construction site. And I called a cab. And by the grace of God, the cab came and got me and drove me all the way to the airport. And my sister bought me a flight back to where she was. And that's how I came back home that last time.
Wow, Lifetime movie type.
I never got I got my documents because when I was making him, mind you, he's confiscating my documents every single time. So I had to wait until I had at least my passport to leave to get on the plane. So how I got that was by 2 months of me making him feel comfortable, he allowed our documents to stay next to us. Before this, he would like have Loyal holding on to our documents. He would only let Loyal have our, and Loyal never is around us. So once I started making him feel comfortable, he started having our documents around us more. And so by the time I left, I was able to take me and Eliana's passport and my ID. But that was the only thing that was the only documents that I could retrieve on my last escape. And he still has all my other documentations, like Eliana's birth certificate, my social, all that.
But luckily, it was enough for you to get on a plane or whatever you got on and get home.
Yeah.
That was smart thinking, Velvet.
Yeah.
Wow, I hope you do write a book, honestly. I really hope you do.
I'm having anxiety right now because this is one of the toughest questions that I have, and I don't want to make you uncomfortable. So please, if I do, please just tell me to stop. But I feel that this is very important that it's addressed because till this day, it's still talked about. there was a time where
I'm a little closer, sweet mom.
thank you, sis. There was a time where you all were live. This live was live that was deleted immediately, and you guys know what it has to do with. It has to do with the gray sweatpants. Now, how I'm asking this question is in no disrespect.
Just ask the question. I'm sorry. I want to let you know that I'm straight. Like, you can ask me I'm going to be able to answer the question.
Okay. So in that video, Eligio, he was gyrating. He was just having a good time, and you noticed something was off, and you asked him to change his pants. Did he ask you to make the video to defend him, or did you
He on the hard when I seen him, whatever. But I felt some type of way because I felt like he was trying to put on a show for women.
like women?
Yeah. And I didn't like that. Like, I found that to be trifling. I found that to be disrespectful to our union, you know. So I politely, like, asked them, like, can you change your pants? You know what they say, you know what I'm saying, about niggas with sweatpants, blah, 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 whatever. So, I asked him to change. Then, after that, he tried to spin it off and made it seem like it was all right or whatever. And I'm just sitting there like, what? Like, you still got your dick in the camera. Then he picks up Eliana. I didn't think that he was on a still. Like, I didn't think he was on a hard. I wasn't even looking at his print like that. You know what I'm saying? I just felt the energy of the situation. And so whenever he picked up Eliana, I don't remember how I specifically felt at that moment, because that wasn't something out of the ordinary for him to do. Because during that time, with his children, Osiris at the time, so it was an atmosphere where he felt like he had at least two children. Was way till that, and people, I thought, was insinuating that he was on the hard holding Eliana and stuff like that, but I didn't think that he was. I would have known if he was. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I felt about the situation. But I do feel like also when after all of that, I felt like Nature Boy had a certain energy on him for that video. I felt like that video, even after the fact, like once Eliana got out my throat chakra is activated like a motherfucker. once Eliana got moved out of the scene and stuff like that, that video became very sexual. He was flipping the women around and doing all of this and doing all of that. It became very sexual. So obviously, unconsciously, I picked up on the energy, and I naturally responded to it like, you should not do that. But he's the type of person, he's just gonna do what I want. He's just gonna do whatever fuck he wants. So it was what it was in that moment. I get scolded for that because
Hold on, wait. So can I add to that really quickly? So he didn't have a battery pack in his pocket, right?
I don't know. I don't know what he had in his pants at that time. He said it was a battery pack, but I don't know what he had in his pockets. I wasn't there to watch him put anything. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
I don't know what's in your pockets right now, like on some shit. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what was in his pockets. I don't remember him putting
Mhm.
a battery pack in his pocket. I don't remember him picking up a battery pack. I don't remember. I don't remember if he even had anything in his pockets. All I remember was that I asked him to change his pants.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Spoke you, or did you get beat over that loss because you brought attention to it? Did he have an issue with you after that?
No. He just wanted me to take up for him and say that he wasn't on hard or whatever. And I personally didn't think that he was, but I could definitely say that, once the baby was removed from the situation, it got very sexual. Like, I felt the sexual energy before, and that's why people could insinuate that he was doing anything sexual or even on the hard when he was holding the baby, because that was the energy that he was holding way before he picked up the baby. You know what I'm saying? So if that makes sense, if y'all understand what I'm saying. Like, that was the vibe. That was the whole vibe.
That was a difficult video to watch. Really was.
You said what?
It was a difficult video to watch.
He said it was a hard video to watch during the time. And then when he made you guys get on live, it's like he kind of wanted to shift the focus off of him and put it on to you guys defending him, because he knew that he was carrying sexual energy.
He's a pedophile to me. Nature Boy is a pedophile to me. And I'm gonna stop saying that word before I get banned on Bigo. But he's that to me, because when a man talks about having children with multiple women and then sleeping his children together, that's some pedophilic shit. Like, if you really think about the dynamic and how your mind has to work in order to even think a thought like that, is nasty. It's nasty. You understand? That's like, it's really sick. So yeah, if a nigga could lay down and have multiple wives and have children with these multiple wives and then sleep their children, sleep his children with his other child, you not gonna put it past him that he would ever, be perverted to his child. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the reason why he wants his child to sleep with his other child, because he wants to be in his child. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's twisted. I'm not gonna say the word because I don't want you to get in trouble. The P word.
You could say real quick, Sweetie, you could say allegedly when you say the P word. Say allegedly.
Allegedly. Yeah. Okay. Because we're not trying to get banned again for the fourth time. No, 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 not tonight. There's a video where a young man called in. It was recorded. A young man called in to say that he had.
He muffled.
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Can you check your speaker to make sure it's not covered?
Can you hear me now?
She's saying that a while back there was a young man that called in to speak to Nature Boy in regards to the experience that he had with his 2-year-old niece and nephews. And I think she was asking more so like, how did you feel about that, right?
Yes, thank you, Kiss. He was eating on camera while asking the guy deep questions like,
Yes, very detailed questions about did your thumb do this? Did your pinky, like, was it a this? What, he was asking.
Wait. Y'all gonna have to backtrack because I don't know what y'all talking.
Okay, so Nature Boy was on live. This was back when y'all were in Panama. And no, y'all were in Palenque. Y'all were in Palenque, and he was sitting outside on those red stairs outside of your room. There was a young guy that called in that was maybe about 18 or 19, and he was speaking to Nature Boy about his alleged, no, that wasn't alleged because he said he did it, about his pedophilic behavior with his niece and nephew that were like under the age of 5, and Nature Boy was asking very detailed questions like about, did you put your thumb here, pinky, like he was asking him.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what y'all talking about, so I
Okay.
would go asleep for that because a lot of in Palenque, like during the pregnancy and after I had Eliana, when he would go live by himself, I would go to sleep. He didn't know that I was going to sleep, and if he found out that I was sleeping, he would have been really, really mad. But I was asleep a lot of the times he went live, so I wasn't
Mhm.
like watching him like on the other end of the live, like maybe other people were, in the camp, but I definitely wasn't. Like once I got time alone where I could do what the fuck I wanted to do, I did what I wanted to do. Period. So I don't remember this. I don't even know what y'all talking about, honestly.
Okay.
That's a good thing. Um, it was pretty crazy life, to be honest. But Velvet brings me into my next question. It's a little unrelated, but I know a lot of people say that, oh, well, if Nature Boy wasn't polygamous, she would be back there, if but there's so many other things outside of the polygamy that are off-putting and are, red flags. Can you kind of speak on the fact of what about Nature Boy at this point would make you never go back to him? Or if you still struggle with thoughts of wanting to go back to him? I know he likes to tell his followers often that you still love him, you just want him all to yourself. Can you speak on that from your perspective,
I've
please?
always told Nature Boy that he can be who he can be with whoever he wants. He always insinuated and forced the fact that he felt like I need to be there because I'm the one that's going to pull his ship together. I'm the one that's going to make his ship float. So I never ever wanted like to be in the polygamous relationship with him. I actually was trying to give him the benefit to do what he's doing now, but that's still an issue. Like with him, with me, if we're not polygamous, it's an issue. If we are, it's an issue. Like it's you can't win for losing. You see what I'm saying? So it's not really a like tit for tat, like who's what and what's what and not. It's just the simple fact that he can't have me in any kind of way. So you know what I'm saying? But for me personally, what the reason why I'm not going back to Nature Boy or even considering going back to Nature Boy is because number one, I don't want my daughter to live this lifestyle. I don't want her to grow up thinking that this lifestyle is okay. I don't want her growing up watching these women hop from man to man so that she grows up thinking that it's okay to hop from man to man. You see what I'm saying? Like, bad enough, I have a certain experience that I have to have in life with men. You know what I'm saying? That she's going to be exposed to whether I like it or she likes it or not. And I'm going to have to walk through that path with her and teach her along the way. So I'm not going to put anything much more on her than what she needs to experience at this age. Number one. Number two, that's not the lifestyle that I ever wanted to live or give my child. So everything is null and void. Everything is null and void. That's all I have to say. Deeper, or in the details of that, it's a lot of shit like him sleeping with all those women, him trying to get all of them pregnant, to have multiple babies, to sleep them together. Like, don't get me wrong, like him being with all the women is not the issue. The issue is how he's being with all of those women, how he's putting us against each other, how he's trying to lie to us and tell us one thing, but he's actually really living in another way. You know what I'm saying? How he's beating us, physically abusing us, mentally abusing us. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are the reasons why I'm not going back to him. I got with him knowing that he was polygamous. I thought that I could do it because I'm a humanitarian and I don't like 100% possess the person that I'm with. I allow that person to have freedom. I allow that person to fully express themselves so that we can mutually have an understanding of who we both are within the dynamic of the relationship. But Nature Boy, on the other hand, he's completely controlling, but I got in the situation with him thinking that I was equipped to do it because of how detached I am about my love life or like being in love with somebody. You know what I'm saying? But along the way, I learned a lot about myself and how I love and my love language, and it's not anything congruent to Nature Boy. So, my love language is not is not equally yoked, and that's enough. You know what I'm saying? Out for the strength of my daughter is enough, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, thanks for answering that. That was a big question. And I completely understand what you mean about the humanitarian side of you. I think a lot of people get confused about that. I know that with you being an Aquarius moon, or an Aquarius sun, that's something that's innate in you. If you get that naturally, even if there are Aquariuses out there that haven't tapped into that yet, there are naturally that way. My moon is in Aquarius, so I completely
Appreciate that.
understand. Yeah, completely understand where you're coming from when it comes to that. It looks like Stinson dropped, so Sweet Ma, you can ask your next question until she comes back.
He's back in the queue. Actually, connected to your question. I pay attention to the comments, and there are people that are concerned when you were holding Alicia, you would say the only reason why she's not with him is he couldn't keep his private and his
Sweet
penis.
mom, we can't hear you.
You gotta pick up your phone from wherever it is. And
Yeah, I think you might have to pick it up.
Hold on. It's the Okay, can you hear me now?
that's better.
Okay. So basically, I had a few people comment this. In one of your videos, or two of them, you said the only reason why you and Eligio did not work out was because he couldn't keep his penis in his pants. But you didn't mention the abuse. You didn't say the abuse was the reason you concerned with baby Ellie not being raised in a good environment. The main thing you would always say is that he couldn't keep his privates in his pants. Is that the only reason, or like, is it everything? And you were just only like referring to one thing? Is the real reason because he wouldn't be faithful, or you were just done completely? I just told you. I literally just told the people the real the overall, like, what, in the sense of what you're asking me. That was a moment, like a literal moment of how I was feeling overall. Overall, this is not what I want to give my child. This is not what I want to give myself. So that's why I will never be with him. I don't want to live this kind of lifestyle in all of the ways. Like I don't want to live like this. And I'm not talking to you, sweet ma. I'm talking to the audience. I'm talking to the audience. I don't want to live this way. There were multiple details in the spectrum of me not wanting to live the lifestyle. Like him not being able to keep his penis in his pants. Him not allowing the women to get any medical attention. Him trying to mate his children with each other. Him trying to dictate when and the women can do what and when they can go and where they can eat and when they can sleep and all of it. I don't want to live like that. I don't want to live that lifestyle, period. And I never want to give I never wanted to have a baby in that circumstance to give her that lifestyle. You see, this is why I'm not going back to live with him or be with him for that matter. And I would, for the record, I didn't fall in love with Nature Boy. I didn't fall in love with Nature Boy. I fell in love with the character he was portraying himself to be. He lied. He's still lying about who he is and trying to turn a blind eye to who he is. But his actions and his characteristics that he's shown the world outshine what he or how he pretends to portray himself. I fell in love with an idea. He fell in love with an idea. Nature Boy didn't fall in love with Velvet Gabriella. He fell in love with Eliana. And I'm not talking about baby Eliana. I'm talking about an idea, a character. Everybody in the panel,
everybody in his life, everybody he ever lays his eyes on is not who he actually are or not who they actually are. He sees he the lens he sees from is a delusional one. He's a very delusional person. He's not looking at you for who you are. He's looking at you as a character in his mind, and he's going to make you into whatever he needs to make you into to fit his circumstance or the character that he wants you to be in his mind. And when you don't live up to those standards, he bashes you in any way that he can. He will break you in any kind of way that he can. He will verbally taunt you in any kind of way that he can to get what he wants to get out of you, or until you give your either you give your energy to him or you don't. And the people that don't give his energy, he calls us demons. He calls us his lower self. He said that we ain't shit, that we're not gonna be shit, we're gonna go to hell. This is what he says to us. And the people that stays in his presence and give him his energy, they sit there and take on that the same physical abuse or mental abuse that he's given to the people who left, because he tells those people who's giving them his energy the same thing he told the people who left. It's no difference, it's just the circumstances different. He treats everyone the same way.
And that's a fact because he has said that multiple times on lives that he idealizes people. He doesn't care what you want for yourself or how you think. You have to have his mind and you have to conform to his ideals. So thank you for answering that question. That was a good question. Thank you for answering that. That
Hold
is
on, y'all, real quick. Supreme, if you can hear us, can you mute yourself, please?
You want me to mute? You want me to mute?
Supreme, yeah, it's background. You have background noise, Supreme.
Really?
Mm, thank you. I appreciate Sweet Ma asking that question because people want to clarify. They want to get clarification around certain things, and you'll catch me in a moment saying something. You know what I'm saying? But I realize that even though I'm in a moment in my own personal journey, people are in a more what do you call it, like a more bigger picture. So when I answer questions, it's like overall, like what is it, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's not like, oh, give me a bit and a piece here or a piece here and a piece there. It's like overall. And I appreciate for her for asking that because it clarified, a lot. It clarified, even though I answered it before, you know what I'm saying? Because I see people in the comments like, she already answered it, like whatever. Like, people need clarification, and it's okay. Like, it's okay.
Thank you, Velvet.
we can't
I
hear you.
can't hear you, sweet mom. I can't hear you for some reason.
Did you mute yourself?
Yeah. Okay. So the reason why I asked it specifically like that was because I wanted to make it clear that because I read comments and a lot of the comments were stating the same thing. So I said, you know what? He asked you the question, but I just want to make sure that the whole penis, not, being in his pants wasn't the only reason. Because I do remember that one live when you said it. I was reading the comments under that video, and everybody's like, "Oh, so she would stay getting her butt whooped. She would stay. She would da 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 da." It's all for the. That's what they thought. So I just wanted to clear that up. That's it. Sometimes you gotta ask a question a different way for other people to comprehend. You understand? That's all.
I get
Velvet, I wanted to ask you about healing.
it.
I look at this as a cult. It was an abusive relationship. When what would you what would you say to people leaving a cult or an abusive relationship? Um, and also, is it, how do I ask this? What was hard for you when you would leave and you would come back to what they call Babylon? Was it hard for you to get acclimated back to the real world, as we call it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because Nature Boy uses the lifestyle
to reel people in and make them believe that he's the Messiah because he's enlightened them and taught them about this certain way of life. Because I got accustomed to the part of the lifestyle that resonated with me was being in nature and waking up in nature and immediately eating fruit. And on my free time, on my leisure time, I go to the waterfall and recharge, or get online and give my opinion or express how I, just grew a garden, or how I'm making certain decisions in my life that's healing me along my journey. Like, this was a part of the lifestyle that really, resonated with me. So when I came back to, Babylon, so to speak, I didn't have money to buy my fruit anymore. I didn't have a waterfall or water readily available, accessible to me. It was cold outside. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of stuff, it was a culture shock for me. And the like, me going through some of the ups and downs in the environment here in Babylon was never what propelled me to go be back and live with Nature Boy. It was the strength of Ellie, or the relationship that I wanted me, him, and Eliana to have. Like, the idea of keeping our family together was why I kept going back to him. But when it came to my environment, I would really have some very depressing days. Like, and it's funny because everybody, this is my first time living with my dad since I've even left to go to carbonation. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the first time that, like, I'm back with my dad. And I noticed that everybody before my dad, who I was living with, they didn't, like, they said that they cared about me, but they didn't necessarily care about me, because they would like make fun of my eating habits. They was, like, try to coerce me into eating stuff that I don't eat and that I don't want to eat. Others, like, other little shit, you know what I'm saying, that was happening. But my dad, he it tries to his hardest to accommodate me in the best way possible. Like, he will go buy a shit ton of fruit even if I don't eat it, even if it's genetically modified, and say, Vel, this is all I have right now. Just have a little more bit more patience until we get to the point where we can go pick our own coconuts off the tree. You know what I'm saying? And so that I'm with my dad, and he's making the effort to keep me comfortable, as comfortable as he could on my way and on my journey into my healing journey. You know what I'm saying? It's been very healthy for me. This has been with my dad, has I've gotten the most healing that I've ever gotten before and after carbonation. I'm healing from shit with my dad that I went to carbonation with. You know what I'm saying? And so I appreciate the things that I do have in my environment right now, because my dad goes out his way to make sure that I'm good. And it is what it is. I know that, I just know that I'm never gonna allow my uncomfortability with the environment make me, or allow me to think that I have to depend on Nature Boy, because he already has what I want. Everything that glitter ain't gold. So I'm not gonna put myself in a situation where he's like, hey, I got all of these fruits, I got all of this water, you can just do whatever you want, and then try to make it look good. But in real life, he's actually using it over my head and saying, like, here, I got you wrapped around my finger. I would rather be homeless. I would rather eat a Wendy's burger than subject myself to eating fruit for the rest of my life under a manipulation spell. Period.
Right. It's more, that'd be like having a trip to hell with an angel.
Exactly.
Shout out to Pops.
For sure. For sure.
Sweet Mom.
All praises to the Most High.
Absolutely. All praises. Go
Yeah.
ahead, it's your turn.
Well,
My cash app is Velvet Gabriella.
oh, did you?
Capital V, capital G. That's my cash tag. Velvet Gabriella. Capital V, capital G.
Yeah, I put that in the chat earlier to ask. Um, There was a question that I had that I felt was important, but honestly can't really think right now. But this has been awesome. Like everything that you're answering, I'm grateful that you didn't stop any questions from being asked. Real quick, off topic, is Eligio abusing alcohol? Do you guys drink alcohol every day, nonstop? Like, how is that?
He's definitely abusing alcohol. Definitely.
That's so obvious, right? I just had to confirm because sometimes we're looking from the outside in, and you guys might just only drink one glass of wine a day, and it looks like it's excessive when really it's not. I figured, why not ask you, you know?
He's definitely abusing alcohol. He was an alcoholic before carbonation, before melanation. He was an alcoholic. This was the reason why he was almost in prison for 20 years because of his alcoholic abuse.
Yeah.
So now that he's in carbonation and he deems himself to be the Messiah and he's on this righteous lifestyle, he only limited himself to wine, which he has fallen victim to ingesting Hennessy. That ain't no organic drink at all. So now I am under the impression that he is mixing wine and Hennessy almost every day, if not every other day, which is still a form of abuse. Because when you drink and you verbally abuse someone or physically abuse someone under that substance, you are an alcoholic abuser or an alcohol abuser. Period.
Absolutely. So I have a question, and this might be a somewhat of a complicated question for you to answer, Velvet, but I only want to ask you this because I know that I personally get a lot of backlash from my viewers and some of the people that comment on my channel, because of my support of the ex-members who have gathered the courage to leave carbonation and to not go back. So a lot of people talk about accountability. And when I hear that word, I feel like every time you speak out, you are taking a form of accountability for being at carbonation, for possibly influencing other young women who look up to you and who are watching your journey and who are admiring the things that you've been through. When you hear people talk to you about taking accountability for your role in carbonation, how does that make you feel? Because I know how it makes me feel because I'm just an outsider looking in. I have a younger sister that's around your age range, and I know how easy it is to manipulate young women, especially when you're 20 years their senior. How does it make you feel when you hear people constantly talking about taking accountability for a cult that you did not control at any point? Can you tell us what your thoughts on that? How
I
just
feel
quickly?
very I feel very misunderstood because when I was there, I yeah, I was fighting people, so to speak, because I was defending myself. No one ever he never turned the camera on those other people to show what those other people were doing to me for the reason why I raised my hand to them. You know what I'm saying? He was only trying to make me look like I was crazy. Needless to say, I feel misunderstood because when I was there, I was rooting for everyone's emotional sanity. I was rooting for everyone's heart not to be broken the way that it is. Malia wouldn't be going through what she's going through if it wasn't for Nature Boy, and he would have listened to me. Aya would have never be in the position that she's in right now if he would have listened to me. And Efru and Sheba and True and everybody in carbonation wouldn't have never got hurt the way that they did if he would have listened to me. I personally had a conversation. This was around the time when y'all thought that I was going back because I had a phone conversation with him. I didn't have that phone conversation with him to be with him. I had that phone conversation with him for him to take responsibility for the shit that he's doing. And he took responsibility and from the entire carbonation. But he'll never He'll never admit to that conversation. He'll never say, and I wasn't the person that I am. I'm not a fucked up person, so I wasn't even thinking about recording it, but I should have, so that y'all can hear it. But I have other files on him that I can expose about him, where he said that he was gonna do something and he did it. Needless to say, he took responsibility in these phone calls in front of the entire carbonation. The entire carbonation was clapping for me, like she's the queen. And I was about to have that environment very clean. I was about to have everybody like on some really righteous shit, but he don't want that. So after he figured out that I wasn't coming back, he stepped back and started trying to shit on me online, saying that I'm a hoe, saying this and saying that, and tried to put me down and put me down. I feel very misunderstood because that's fucked up. That's fucked up. On one hand, you take responsibility, but then on the other hand, just because you didn't get what you wanted out of me, you try to make me look like I'm not shit. Then on top of that, all of the other people in carbonation watch me try to give them the best. I told him, I said, y'all women need to be in y'all own relationship because he don't want to be with you for real, for real. He don't want to love you for real, for real. And I told Nature Boy, all of those women in there deserves what I have. If me and you gonna be in a relationship and the way you trying to make it seem like you love me and we love each other, those women need the same thing and you not gonna be able to give it to them. And he was like, you right, you right. And admitted it to the women. And they was like, yeah, you right. You not going to be able to give it to me. But I still love you. I still want to be with you. So they're doing it to themselves. Like, I'm not about to stand there and be with somebody that don't give a fuck about me. I'm not about to sit there and be with nobody that I've been rocking with for a year plus, and have some person that just can't meet you on the scene just hop in the front seat like it's like she been there. Like, you fucking, oh, like, let it be known Aya should be where Malia is, for real. Like, on some, like, if you really want to play that game, Aya needs to be where she at. Aya had your back way more than Malia did, and Aya is the one that's not gonna give you a problem with polygamy. You thought you had a problem with me, nigga. You better watch for Malia. She gonna give you the issue. She is going to give you the issue. I'm telling you, mark my words, on this day at 8:02 p.m. Malia is going to. He thought he had a problem with me. I feel misunderstood because I stood up for the righteousness. I stood up for the positivity.
Thank you, because that's kind of what I saw from just my lens looking in. I mean, even when you come back to Cookie's house, and sometimes people try to say, "Oh, well, Velvet was passing the women around," but I see it completely differently. I saw that Velvet was actually trying to have the women be with the they actually
Wanted,
wanted
and,
and
and
that
I
they
was
were
and I
happy
wasn't
with.
putting people together
No, I
either.
know.
I told those women, I say, manifest you a nigga if you need to. Like, you don't have to be with nobody here, but I'm not gonna sit here and just watch you be in a relationship where you getting fucked over either. Period.
Right.
Yeah, he likes to play that game of, I don't know, putting people together on how they
And that was
look.
another thing. Like, when I was, I'm sorry to cut you off, but that was another thing. Like, when I was there, I kept saying on live, like, to everybody, like, people thought I was being mean, but when you really look at it, I kept saying, I don't want to be with you, Malia. I don't want to be with you, I don't want to be with you, Efaru. I don't want to be with you, Sheba. I don't want to be with you, Nature Boy. Like, I kept saying that shit.